Well, hello everyone. Welcome to CASA Choices. Before I introduce our speaker for tonight, I do want to remind you that if you have any questions that come up during the presentation, feel free to type those into the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. We will have some time at the end of the event for some question and answer. With all that said, let me introduce our speaker for tonight. Ryan Murphy is a 21-year veteran of the cosmetology industry. He graduated from Oehrlein School of Cosmetology and started his career in Peoria. He traveled to New York City, where he completed extensive colorist training with Redken Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. There, he received his certification and completed coursework as color specialist and master specialist. He has also served on the board for the Peoria Cosmetology Association for 4 years. Ryan, thanks so much for joining us tonight, and I'll turn it over to you now.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. So basically what I'm going to talk about tonight, I'm just going to have a little discussion about the cosmetology industry, what it is, what it entails, some of the things you can expect, how to get involved in the cosmetology industry, things about education, how you go about getting certified as a cosmetologist, what exactly a cosmetologist does, and the things they do, and just a little background information on me and what I do in my job as a cosmetologist and how I started out and how I am where I am today, as you heard, 21 years later. So after that, I'm going to kind of go into some information as far as like almost like beauty school days, like where showing you some examples of how we learn things in cosmetology school, or some call it beauty school. We'll go into some of that. I'll show a few things about that. And then I'm going to open it up to some questions. If anybody has any questions on them, actually, you can maybe see in the background here, I'm actually in the salon that I work at here in Peoria Heights. So behind me, as you see, we've got some eyelashes in the background and some Q-tips. I'm actually sitting in our makeup room, in our nail room. There's an airbrush makeup machine behind me. It's kind of backwards here. So I'm sitting in here. This is our hub for tonight. I'm going to kind of chat from here. And then once we get done kind of talking, having some discussion, answering any questions, then there are actually, I believe, 3 stylists out on the floor tonight that are working. So I'm going to take you on a tour of the salon. Again, it's called Marvella Salon, and we're over here in Peoria Heights. I'm just going to give you on a walk around of the salon, show you what it looks like, show you my station where I do all my magic during the day. And then there's a couple stylists that are working, so I'm going to actually walk up to them. They're working on their client, so we can ask them a few questions to see what they're doing on their client. Just ask them, because every hairstylist is very different. We all have different perspectives, different ideas, different techniques. So it'll be kind of cool for you to actually see some other people other than just myself that are actually live working on clients right now that can answer any questions that you might have. And you can see firsthand what it looks like to be working on a client. They'll kind of explain to us what they're doing, what the process is, and things like that. And if you guys have any questions for them, that'd be great also. And I'll show you also just kind of like a behind the scenes look. There's really not that much excitement in the back room, but just kind of where we mix our color and like the chemical processes and stuff like that. So just to get the first stuff out of the way, a little bit about myself. I actually started out a little over 20 years ago as a preschool teacher. I taught preschool for about 5 or 6 years, and I was looking for more of a creative outlet. I've always been more of an artistic person, a little more of a creative person. And though I loved working with kids were a lot of fun, and I have actually 4 of my own kids right now. I just was looking for something a little bit more. I'm one of those people that has a very big personality. I have a lot to say. I'm definitely a talker. And so working with kids was fun for me, but I just needed something a little bit more creative. And when I was in high school and when I was a teenager, I was always kind of interested in hair and, hairstyles and everything. I was also a theater kid. So I grew up in the theater community as well. So that also helped stem, where some of my creativity stemmed from. So when I was doing theater, I would always volunteer to kind of do help with makeup and hair and things like that. And that's when I kind of decided that that's what I wanted to do. So I ended up going to cosmetology school, and went through the whole program. And then after I finished that, which we'll go into a little bit more of that in a little bit. Once I finished cosmetology school, I went right into a salon and started doing all kinds of stuff before I started doing hair, just waiting to build up my clientele. So here I am, 21 years later, still behind the chair doing what I love. I can honestly say that after 21 years of doing it, I still absolutely love my job. I love what I do. I love the people I work with. I love the people that I have met along the way. And I've learned a lot about people, not just about hair in the past 21 years that I've been working behind the chair. So first off, I'm going to talk about what is cosmetology. You hear so many people talk about, oh, I'm a hairstylist, or I'm a hairdresser, or I'm a nail technician. I do nails or whatever. So cosmetology is kind of a general term where we kind of lump all kinds of things from the beauty industry into the term cosmetology. When you go to cosmetology school, or other people call it beauty school, um, there's actually three things you study. So you don't go to school to just learn how to do hair. There's so much more than that. You are basically learning hair care, you're learning about skin care, and you're also learning about nail care. So first, the study of skincare is obviously called dermatology. Not I. We are not doctors. We are not dermatologists. I'm sure you've heard the term dermatologist used before. We are not dermatologists. But what we study when we study dermatology is skincare, with as far as learning how to do corrective facials. Facials, if you're not familiar with what facials are, they're a cleansing treatment for the face. They help get rid of lines and wrinkles. They cleanse, they moisturize, they're very relaxing. So we learn how to do skincare first of all. Then trichology actually what's called the study of hair. So we have dermatology, which is skincare. Then we have trichology, which is the study of hair. So I don't have all that much hair left myself, but what we study with trichology is not just cutting and coloring hair. Before you learn to do that, you have to learn about the science behind the hair. So the trichology is the study of hair. You learn about the hair shaft, the cuticle, the cortex, all of that type of thing. So trichology is the study of hair. And then onychology, ana with a Y, not ano, onychology is the study of nails. So when you study nails, you learn about nail funguses, nail bacterias. You learn how the nails grow, what type of proteins and pH balance your hair and nails have to be. In order for nails to grow. You also learn how to do acrylic nails and gel nails and manicures and pedicures and things like that. So the word cosmetology, again, does not just basically mean a hairstylist. It is the study of nails, the study of hair care, and the study of skin care. So there are certain programs that you can go to through different schools. The one I went through was the cosmetology program, so I did all three. There are some schools out there, depending on where you go to school, where you can actually do just hair, or just nails, or just skincare, and specialize in just those. But with a cosmetology license in the state of Illinois, you're a triple threat because you can do all three. You can study hair care and do hair. You can study nails and do nails, and also do facials and aesthetics, which is the skincare portion of it as well. So basically, when you go to beauty school, or cosmetology school, or nail school, or aesthetic school, if you're doing just one, I'm going to speak in reference to cosmetology school because that's what I did. So I went to school at Oehrlein School of Cosmetology, which is in East Peoria. And in the state of Illinois, you have to have 1,500 credit hours to complete your cosmetology certification. So basically how it works, when you start cosmetology school, you don't just walk into the school and they hand you some shears and some capes and say, okay, let's start cutting hair. It's not scary at all. For the first 500 hours of school, you're in what they call basics or basic training. So what you do, it's actually kind of fun. You get some like mannequin heads with your school kit, and you get your books. And for the first 500 hours, you're actually in a workshop. And so they basically kind of teach you what we call the basics of hair care. They teach you how to put on a color application. They teach you basic haircuts and things like that. So that way, it can just kind of get your feet wet in the hair aspect of things. Um, After you do that, then you do the same thing with the skincare, learning about skincare products, learning about skin infections and skin disease and different things to look for with acne and things like that, and learning about products that can correct those things. Then after that, you go into your basics of nail care, which again, you learn about the kind of the gross stuff like the nail funguses and nail bacteria and things like that. But then you get to learn how to paint nails and do acrylic nails and pedicures as well. So once you complete your 500 hours of your basics, then you actually go to the clinic floor. Now they don't just release you to just go and do your own thing. Throughout the entire course, you're actually supervised by a teacher. So some days, 2 days a week, you're down in the theory class in classroom all day, learning more techniques and learning more skills. And the other days you're on the clinic floor actually working on clients. The clients will come in, they will explain what they need, what services they're wanting, and then you talk with the teacher and they kind of chaperone and supervise you. So it's a very slow process, but it's a very easy process to get in the swing of things because they don't just, again, cut you loose. So altogether, for the cosmetology program, it's 1,500 hours in the state of Illinois. Once you finish those 1,500 hours, you take a final exam at your cosmetology school. They will issue the test to you. And once you pass the test, you graduate. Congratulations, you're done. You've graduated from beauty school. And then the next step is to take the state board exam. So what you will do next is you will go to take your big exam, and that is what will actually get you your cosmetology license. So also then, once you're on the clinic floor, that's when all your friends can come in, your family can come in and have hair services done. And then you can kind of experiment on them. So when I graduated from cosmetology school, I started right off in a salon. It was actually a full service salon and spa. So one thing about the cosmetology business, or which I fell more into and am still, is the hair business. It takes some time. You have to build a clientele. It takes patience. So once I started out in a salon, I didn't have a whole lot of clients. So what I would do is I would use my other two factors that I learned in cosmetology school, and I would do pedicures, I would do nails, and I would do facials. So what I would do is I would cross promote myself. So if I had a client that was coming in every month for pedicure, and then I started talking to them about hair because that was, again, going to be my focus. I wanted to focus on hair. So as I was doing these pedicures and doing facials with these clients, that was helping me make money and network with other people, therefore cross-promoting to get them into the services that I wanted to do, which was hair. So as a hairstylist, basically there's a lot of factors involved. There's so many things we do, and this business is constantly changing. Again, I've been standing behind my chair for 21 years, and still every single day I learn something new. One thing about this industry is it is constantly forever changing. It does not get boring because the trends are changing, the styles are changing, techniques are changing. Now, I may be a 21-year veteran of being behind the chair, but there are coworkers out there on the salon floor that have only been doing hair for a year. We have a fresh graduate that was one of our interns here that just graduated last week. She's on the floor doing hair now. And then we have other people that have been doing it 2 or 3 years. So even though just because I've been doing it for a very long time, 20 going on 21 years now this fall, I still am learning from other people that have been doing it a lot less than me and a lot shorter time, because again, the trends change. So we do everything as far as, so I'm going to kind of go away from the nails and the facials now and basically focus again on hair, being a hairstylist, which is again my forte and what you'll see here in the salon today. So with me, I started out really enjoying cutting hair. And color was something a little bit tricky for me. It was something that I was a little more nervous, a little more apprehensive to do. But it's after kind of diving into a little bit deeper, it became my passion. So now, me personally, I do enjoy it, and I still love cutting hair, but coloring is my forte. That is what I consider my niche or my specialty. So I went to New York City and did some extensive color training with Redken in New York City, and that really boosted my career and basically changed my whole perspective on everything I had learned as a colorist. So some of the things that we do in the hair salon, we obviously cut hair. So we do women's haircuts, we do men's haircuts, we do kids' haircuts, we do all kinds of haircuts, no animals. Anyway, we also then do a full range of color services or chemical services, as we call them. Chemical services can be anything as far as just putting highlights in the hair, which is where kind of the highlight started, was just a basic foil highlight. And then we also do all over color glazing, and balayage, which is the very popular technique now. And also a lot of ombre techniques and things like that. Another thing is, I always say how the trends are changing. Once we do something for quite some time, then the patterns change and the way of doing things change, and it becomes more of a new technique with a different name sometimes. So lots of really cool stuff that we do in the salon as far as cutting, coloring, things like that. We also, not as much as far as chemical services. There are still perms that happen out there when people get perms. I haven't done one in a very long time, but as again, trends change, we're seeing a lot of young teenage boys that are getting perms now. It's just kind of a trend. So when you're going to beauty school, there's obviously, cutting hair, doing nails, doing facials, things like that. But some of the things that I want to show you, just a couple things here. I'm going to talk to you about hair color and how we go about finding hair color. Also, how we decide when someone comes in, a new client comes in and sits in my chair, and I've never seen them before. And a lot of times they generally have an idea of what they want for their haircut. But sometimes you have that rare case where someone will come in and say, "You are the professional. I want you to do what you think is best for me." So how we learn how to do that, some of it is kind of in our brain, in our already in our nature. It's in our own nature to do that as hairstylists. That's kind of part of our creativity. But part of it is also what we learned in beauty school. So I'm going to quick show you here a chart that we would use. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. My face one. Hang on.
Is this it?
No. All right, I'm going to skip to something else. So what I'm going to show you is
right there.
The what?
There's the 3. So click on one.
Yes.
Double click it. Is that what you want?
Okay. So I'm skipping ahead. I couldn't find the one that I was looking for. Oh, now I'm muted. I'm muted. Stop share.
You're fine.
Okay. Okay, so what you see now, if it's there. There we go. So what I'm skipping ahead because I couldn't find the first one here. So basically the color wheel is how we determine hair color. So when you're coloring hair, it actually all goes back to art and goes back to science. So what you're seeing on the color is the basic color wheel that a lot of you have probably seen in art class. So if you look at this, what you're seeing is, if you look at the orange dot, okay? So say I color someone's hair and it turns more of an orangey color, not by mistake, it's just an orange undertone. To counteract that, I go straight down the color wheel from orange and it's blue. So I'm going to counteract that orange with blue. This is just a quick little science lesson. And then you see over here, if your hair ends up being more of a yellow tone, you can counteract it with a purple color. So basically what we're doing is we're just taking all the colors that we have in our color wheel, and that's kind of how we determine color. So one more slide I'm going to show you here. This is a cool one too. This is actually a color chart that we use in the salon every single day. So this is for Redken color is what we use. And so these are all the cool little shades of color. So when we're in the back room mixing up our magic, we are looking at these color charts trying to determine what level of the color and what shade or what tone of the color that we're looking for as well. All right. So just a couple of things. Those are a few things that you see basically in beauty school. So let's see. What else do I have for you? Okay. So another thing another really cool thing that we have here in the Peoria area alone, we talked about cosmetology school and how you can go to different schools and everything. But here in Peoria, it's actually through Peoria Public Schools District 150 at the Woodruff Technical Center, which is the old Woodruff High School. They actually have a really, really cool cosmetology program. What they do with that program is while you are still in high school, you can attend the cosmetology program part-time while you're still going to school. And then by the time you graduate from high school, you can actually take your state board and get your cosmetology license. So any of you that are out there that are interested in something like this, you know, in the cosmetology industry, whether it be hair, skin, or nails, you can actually check out the Woodruff Technical Center. Again, it used to be Woodruff High School. And they have different ones. They have a culinary program, they have a work program, a mechanical program, and then they also have the cosmetology program. So if you're wanting to maybe do something like this, if it's something you're interested in, you can actually get a jump start on it and not have to wait until after high school to go to cosmetology school and check out the Woodruff Technical Center and look into their cosmetology program there too. That's another thing that you can do is contact them and actually go take a little tour. All right. So what we're going to do, we've got maybe about 15 minutes left. So what's that? Before we do our little salon tour, I wanted to see if does anyone have any questions for me? If you do, you can actually type them in. Let me pull up my chat.
Stop screen share. Stop the screen share.
So if you guys have any questions for me thus far before we head out onto the salon floor and take a little tour and see some of the stylists, if you have any questions thus far for me before we get to the even more fun stuff, you can go ahead and type it into the chat and I will do my best to answer any questions that you may have. So I'll wait just a couple minutes to see if I get any questions. If not, we will head out to the salon floor. We'll take a tour around. I'll show you a little bit in the back room. And then we will also go see what some of the stylists are out there doing on their clients and see if they have any insight or anything they want to add to our meeting tonight. Okay, so what I'm going to do, since we're going out onto the salon floor, I'm going to go ahead and put on my mask. I'm going to have someone follow me with the computer here, and I'm just going to give you a little tour of the salon. So let's go. So we're at Marbella Salon, and Marbella Salon is in Peoria Heights. So when you first come into the salon, you're greeted by our receptionist, and this is all of our retail. So we have all kinds of products that we utilize and that we sell in the salon. And our waiting room over here. And if you walk this way, you can see this is our salon floor. Hello, everyone. We have a group of kids watching us, hanging out with us. So here at Marbella, we have 10 stations, quite a few hairstylists as well, but it looks like some of them are already off for the night. So just gonna give you a little walk around. This is me over here. This is my station right here. This is where I do work my magic. Yes. All right, so after we get color on and do all that type of thing, these are our shampoo. This is our shampoo area over here. And all kinds of different shampoos for every hair type that we utilize to shampoo for color treated hair and all different types of hair. And if you look over here, we'll go talk to her in just a minute. So this is a client that is getting some foil highlights, and she's sitting under the dryer for her color to process. All right. And if you want to follow me this way, I'm just going to show you a little bit about where we keep all of our stuff in the bathroom. As we were talking about hair color earlier, these are all the different colors we use. Everybody uses something different. So we have permanent color, we have semi-permanent color, we have our developers up here, and all of our bowls and brushes and things like that. All right, so if you see, there is a lot of product that we use in a hair salon. All right, so this is kind of a sneak peek of our back room back here. We're gonna go back out to the front really quick. I'm gonna show you some of the tools that we use and some of the products, and then we're gonna pop in and see what the girls are doing.
Yeah, those are good. I feel like Matrix is the most popular, but.
All right, some of the tools we use. As you see, we use traditional shears for cutting hair, thinning shears, razors. And for men's cuts and short hair cuts, we use clippers. We have our flat irons, our brushes, our blow dryers. And again, lots of products that we use on a daily basis. So basically with some of these products, hang on me, there we go. Just a couple ideas of some products. We have mousse that is used to kind of set the hair. Hairspray that everyone kind of is familiar with. We use hair products for naturally curly hair and ethnic hair. Shine sprays. More hairsprays and more heat protectants. All right, so just an example of some of the products that we use. So what we're going to do now is we're going to sneak over here. Tammy is actually working on one of her clients over here. Tammy, do you mind?
Hello.
So this is Tammy. She's one of our fantastic hairstylists.
Hi.
And she is giving a haircut to her client. Tammy, how long have you been in the business?
13 years.
She's been in 13 years. And what would you say, out of all the things, all aspects of doing hair, what is your favorite thing to do?
Talk to my clients.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Tammy.
Yeah.
We're going to pop over here. This is Tressa. She's another one of our fantastic hairstylists.
Yeah.
And as we said, her client is under the dryer. She's getting some foil highlights. So she sits her under the dryer just to process under heat for a little bit. Tressa, how long have you been doing hair?
About 3 years now.
Okay. And what would you say is your favorite aspect of the hair world?
Definitely seeing clients' reaction and to your hair work and making them feel beautiful and seeing how happy they are when they leave with fresh hair.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get back up here. Okay, so as you can see, all kinds of fun stuff going on in the hair salon. So just kind of recap what we talked about tonight. It looks like I may have a question. Hang on, where's my mouse at? We talked about what it takes to go to cosmetology school, where you can go to cosmetology school. Oh yes, I do have a question. Give me 1 second. I will get right to that question for you. A lot of cool stuff. Getting to see the background, the behind the scenes at the salon, giving a little example of what you do chemistry wise in a salon, and also a little bit of background on the cosmetology industry itself. Okay, so cool. I have a first question. It says, can you explain the difference between ombre and balayage? That is a great question. Balayage and ombre have a very similar have a very similar look to them, but there is one big difference. Balayage is where you take and you hand paint the highlights into the hair, generally done on longer hair. So basically what you do is you take the section of hair and you freehand paint to make it closer to the scalp, but still with a little bit of root. Now, the difference with that and ombre is when all the ends are lighter. So your hair is like, you have like a dark color, and then the ends are all like a lighter blonde or a lighter color. So that's the difference between the ombre and the balayage. Again, the balayage is hand painted in with a brush, and it's taken higher up, basically kind of like face framing around the front of the face, and then some pieces in the back as well, where the ombre is basically all the ends are lightened. So hopefully that answered the question. Do I have any other questions? Okay. Well, I think that's all I've got for you tonight, guys, unless you have any other questions. Kyle, do you have any questions for me?
I don't have any questions in it at this point. It looks like, oh, we got another question just come in here.
Okay, I
Do you want
see.
to answer that one?
Yes. Okay, so that's a very tricky question. The next question says, how much is a cut and color? So every hairstylist charges a different price. It's based on their level of experience, how much time they've worked behind the chair, things like that. So here at the salon that I work at, a haircut starts anywhere from $22 all the way up to $39 to $40. Same thing with the color. Color is also a tricky one to decide as far as an actual price, because there's different types of color. You can be doing a highlight or a balayage. Those start anywhere from $75 up to about $100, $125, $130. So it kind of depends on which type of color service you're wanting, and also the experience that stylist has. So basically, the more you pay for education to continue your education and learn more skill, also the more you can charge as a hairstylist. So I would always say anywhere from between 22 and 40 for a haircut, and anywhere from 75 to 130 some dollars for color. But also it's always best to go to a hairstylist and have a consultation with them, because if somebody calls me and says, hey, I just want all over color, my price for that is $65. But if they come in and their hair is down to the middle of their back, that's going to use a heck of a lot more product for me. So there is an additional charge for that. So I always recommend, rather than giving a flat rate price for things, you always say X amount plus, and that way, and that was your, that's the way you can just kind of determine how much the service is going to charge. All right. Any other questions? Who was your favorite client at Duke Design Studio? Ooh, that's going to get me in trouble. I plead the fifth. But I would have to say Sally. Anyway, do I have any other questions? All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Kyle, if you, good answer. All right. If you guys have any other questions for me, feel free to shoot them to me right now. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me. I had a great time. Thank you to CASA for asking me to do this. It's something, obviously, as you can see, I'm very passionate about my job and my career. And, another thing, just to kind of wrap up, the two stylists that we talked to tonight, one of them, Tammy, she said her favorite thing about her job is making people feel better and getting to learn, things about people. And then Tressa had also said the feeling that she gets when her clients get excited when they see the outcome of their result and everything. So it's not just about making money. It's actually not just about standing on our feet for 12 hours a day, exhausted. It's about the connections that we make with people, the relationships that we are forming with people. Because I have clients that sat in my chair when I first graduated 21 years ago that are still in my chair. They've seen me when I've gone through big life changes and when I have had children and everything. So your clients are not just your clients. They also become very, very close friends. So the moral of that is it's not just about hair. It's about networking. It's about relationships and friendships that you make along the way as well. All right. Kyle, anything else for me?
Thanks so much, Ryan. That was great. I mean, I don't think we've had someone yet give us a tour of their facility, so that was super fun to
Oh,
kind of
absolutely.
get to
That's
see
great.
where you work and kind of get to see behind the scenes and everything.
Sure, sure. Glad to do it.
Yeah, as I'm wrapping up here, if anybody has any additional questions, feel free to type them there in the Q&A box. We still have plenty of time to answer if there's any more, but I do just want to let you know that our next CASA Choices event will be on Wednesday, April 21st at 5:30 p.m. Our speaker that night will be Jimmy Dillon from the West Central Illinois Trades Council, who will be sharing about career opportunities in the trades. So looks like we don't have any other questions. That must be because Ryan was so informative and so thorough that you
Thank you.
answered all the questions anyone could possibly have.
All right.
So thanks again, Ryan. Thanks everyone for attending and have a great night.
Thank you so much.